right, now that my levels are set up, I want to start testing my player movement. So my player scene has my script attached for my player movement in the collision layers. I have it set up properly with layer 2 for the player, layer 1 for the mask. So everything is all ready to go. But my player needs a camera, and I want the camera to follow the movement. So I'm actually going to be adding it directly to the player object. So I have my player node selected, plus, and I'm going to be adding a camera 3D. Now, something that's helpful with the camera is turning on one of the two viewport views, and you can do whichever one you want. For one of them, I'm going to toggle on preview, and this is only an option that's available when the camera is actually selected, so just be aware of that. Now, we can see that the camera is too close and definitely in the wrong position. I'm just going to press the Z over here to go into the front view. And I'm gonna try to, well, actually, I'm gonna get a little bit at an angle, but I just wanted to make sure I was looking from the front. I'm gonna pull a little bit back, a little bit up. I'm gonna go into the transform settings. I think I want the X rotation. I'm gonna just add a little bit of a tilt. Bring this a little bit further back. Maybe it's too high up. Okay, here we go. That's more what I was looking for. All right, something like this. So in a third-person game, as I'm sure most of you are aware, you usually see the full player inside of the camera view. All right, so that is looking good. And I'm just going to save my player scene. And I'm going to temporarily put my player in level 1 just for testing the movement. Oh, and actually, before I do that, I just noticed this one's floating a little bit, so I'm just going to sink him down. I could always adjust the rotation instead, but I think that looks fine. All right, so going to my player scene, and I'm going to drag it over level 1 and just have it a little bit in the air so it drops down. I could have it drop from a higher place if I want to. I want to make sure it's not set into the ground where it might have trouble moving. All right, so that looks fine. And now I'm ready to preview. So when I'm ready to preview, I'm going to come over here to run the current scene, or Command R. And this opens this little floating window. And if you have an older version of Godot than the version that I'm using, you'll definitely have a floating window, though it may or may not have all of these different options. But hopefully you have the updated version. And if you do, you can come over to the little embedding options over here. And if you uncheck floating window, I'm just going to cancel the preview. And I'm going to run that again. But now it's in our game tab running directly in Godot. So if I click inside of that game window, it becomes active, and now I can test my movement and see how my collisions are working, see how the movement's going. Because the portal is an area 3D, I can go right through it. That's to be expected. But all of my controls are going the correct directions. They're behaving as I want to. Spacebar gives me a jump. And keep in mind, I have all the settings over here, and I can actually adjust them while I'm playing the game and see how things change. So maybe I want more of a jump height. So if I click back over in the window here, I can see how that jump looks with a bigger height. Maybe I want less of a jump rotation, so maybe I'm going to put that to 5. Click back in the window. Or actually, it looks like maybe that gave me more of a jump rotation. I'm going to try increasing that to 20. Yeah, and that's a little bit more subtle. So I can experiment while I'm actually previewing the game so that I can really easily get exactly the settings that I want for everything. And if I want to turn off the display of something, I can do that. Click back in the game and continue testing. So this can just be so helpful as you're working to be able to continuously adjust things and make changes. And when I stop the preview, going back, notice that these changes are still there. So I don't have to remember the settings that I changed. They're just what I set them as, which is really helpful. All right, so that game movement looked pretty good. Oh, there is one more thing I want to show you about that window. So I'm just going to run the current scene again. And I want to mention that we have a few different modes for the player itself. The first one is this input. And so as long as you've clicked in the window, you can use your playback controls as expected. 2D would be for any UI elements. And 3D, I can actually click on the different objects to have access to their settings. Now, something that I like to do when I'm in this mode is actually switch from the normal select mode to this list select mode. And then when I click on an object, it shows me everything that's available in that area. So maybe I want the collision shape, but maybe I actually want the player as a whole. Maybe I want my obstacle, or maybe I want one of the collision shapes. Maybe I want the ground. So I feel like this list view is a little bit more helpful. And so that's just what I wanted to show. So I'm going to stop. I'm happy with how everything is moving. Now I do want to mention the player was just here for testing out the movement. So I'm actually just going to delete it. Now, before I delete it, I do want to mention the changes that I made to the player script here, or the player settings, were specific for this player instance. So when I add my player back into the actual location it's going to be in the game, if I want to keep the settings that I changed, I'll need to go back and change them. So that's just something to be aware of. But I do want to delete, so I'm going to say OK. I'm going to make sure that I saved all my changes with Command S, and I'll be back in another video.